She may seem like she gets a good night's sleep, but find out why Rosie's waking up 200 times a night. And if you suffer from the same sleep disorder that affects as many as 18 million people. All that, hot topics, and more coming up on Season 10 of The View.
Kind of embarrassed about. It had me tossing and turning. It's for the feet in China. So I was turning and snoring like a buzzsaw. So it was time I got to the bottom of it. Please welcome the man who helped me get through it, the author of this book, Good Night, Dr. Michael Breus. Michael, good to see you. And thank you. He has helped me so much. First of all, let's tell everybody what sleep apnea is and how you know if you have to get tested to see that you have it.
Well, sleep apnea, actually, I think we have an animation coming in a second, so we'll be able to see it a little bit clearer. Here we go. So what we have here is an individual is breathing, as we can see from the chest, and air is going to be coming in through. Now, what you'll notice here is there's a blockage. Sleep apnea is when you stop breathing at night. This is a medical situation. There's nothing mental about it. However, it can affect everything from depression to weight gain, everything to death. Absolutely, to death. And so what you'll see here is the patient actually then has to breathe and push air out of their lungs in order to breathe. So what happens is they wake up. So somebody can wake up literally hundreds of times a night and never know it.
And one of the symptoms is you snore very, very loud.
True.
Really loud.
Unbelievably loud.
Like absurdly loud.
But is that like a call for help, the snoring?
Well, I think the snoring can be, but we have to be careful because not everybody with snoring has sleep apnea. So there are a couple of other symptoms. If you wake up in the morning, you have headaches. If you are tired during the day, grumpy, you can be depressed. All of those types of things that you would think from getting a bad night's sleep won't happen if you're just snoring, but will happen if you have sleep apnea.
So Steve snores, but he doesn't have sleep apnea.
Well, this is how you find out if you have it, because I didn't know that I had it, but I suspected. And frankly, it's a little embarrassing because it has to do with weight too, doesn't it, doctor?
Well, it definitely can have an effect on weight. So what we do is we see with people who are a bit larger, they have a tendency to have sleep apnea. But there are plenty of people who are not so large who have sleep apnea as well. And so you have to look for the signs and symptoms ahead of time.
Okay, so this is the first thing that you do in order to see if you have it. You have to sleep with this thing wrapped around your stomach. There's actually 2 belts, not 1, and this in your nose. And all I can say is good luck, because it's not easy. And you could do this at a sleep clinic, but as I said to Michael, I said, I won't be able to sleep at a sleep clinic. So he let me do this test at home. You should ask your doctor if there's a way you can do it at home if you're afraid to go to the sleep clinic like I was.
Why were you afraid?
I don't think I could sleep there, and the concept of me laying there with strangers I don't know with like wires on me, I was like, there's no way. I'd rather snore the rest of my life.
So what I did was I worked with your physician. We've been working for the past couple, 3 weeks together, and we did a screening, which is the first mannequin. And so that was let us know, hey, you might have sleep apnea. Then we did the diagnostic to allow us to know and understand exactly the number of times that you stopped breathing in your sleep.
And get ready for this one. I called him on the phone, and he said, you definitely have this. And I said, how many times do I wake up a night? And he said?
Over 200.
Really?
And one time I stopped breathing for how many seconds?
It was actually close to 40.
40 seconds. Now, Kelly's been telling me this for years. Like, honey, you stop breathing. I'm like, oh, I do not. And she was right, I do.
That means that she doesn't get any REM sleep.
Correct.
And so how do you come in here every day with such energy? I don't understand it.
Can you imagine how do you notice I've been a little more energetic the last week? I felt the difference, honestly, in one night. I woke up in the morning and I said, I think this is psychosomatic, but I feel 100% better. Normally when I wake up at 7, I'm tired, I'm lethargic. The first night I used this, I woke up, I was like, oh my, I cannot believe this.
So you shouldn't take those medications they advertise if you have this, like Lunesta and those things.
Well, here's what's interesting is most women actually present to their physician with insomnia, not necessarily the signs and symptoms of sleep apnea. It was a very recent study. And so when you and I spoke on the phone, one of the things you said to me was, hey, Michael, I don't fall asleep well. Well, that's your body saying, I don't want to go to sleep because I'm afraid it's not going to breathe. So women need to be very careful. We also see this happens a lot with women when they're going through menopause.
Hello, that's me.
And so it's a major factor. We see it happening in men ages and women ages 30 to 70. We see it happening with any individual actually can have it. Even children can have sleep apnea.
So this is what happens. So after you get diagnosed, if you're lucky enough to have coverage that covers it for your medical insurance, you get this machine. This is an amazing machine. Now, it's a little embarrassing, and my kids make fun of me, but they're all happier because I'm more rested. This is what it looks like if you're sleeping. Isn't that attractive? Rosie O'Donnell snorkeling and scuba diving in her own bedroom. My kids come in, crack up, and run out. Now, can we turn it on?
About it serves also as a birth control device.
It does. Although if you're me, that doesn't need to. All right, look. Right now, it's forcing air like a bike, like when you fill up your bike at the gas station, up my nose. And at first, it's a little uncomfortable. But frankly, it makes you sleep better and you actually get rest. I know you're thinking you can't sleep with this thing on, but you can.
Can you cure this disease, or is it just treatable?
Well, there's
How
a
do you
couple of
cure
different
it?
ways.
Yeah.
There are surgeries out there. The best surgery works maybe 50% of the time. But this, we know, works 100% of the time.
Yeah.
I feel better right now just doing this. I don't know.
How much weight would Rosie have to lose to not have to put that thing on her face?
Unfortunately, we don't know the answer to that question. I can
Well,
tell
even
you.
when I've been my thinnest, when I've been 185, which is
Yeah.
pretty much my thinnest
Yeah.
in my adult life, I still snored.
Yeah, well,
Yeah.
what I can tell you is I've saved more marriages as a sleep specialist than I ever would have as a marital therapist.
Yeah.
Just by getting people back in bed, feeling better, sleeping better. It's truly amazing.
It really is amazing. And, I didn't want to do it because I have to say I had a lot of shame and embarrassment. And then Kelly did a thing that I don't recommend anyone do to their spouse. She videotaped me sleeping.
What, to show you what goes on?
Because she loves me and she doesn't want me to, have my health compromised. And she said, honey, look at this. And I looked at it and went, okay, I will do it. And I'm so thankful that I did. Now, I've been upgraded to a better mask. This is a big day for me. Apparently, this is what I get to use tonight.
Why has she been upgraded?
Well, what was happening with Rosie is she was having some small.
Oh, my God.
Hey, honey, you feel in the mood? It's never gonna work. Pretty much gonna be celibate the rest of my life, but boy, am I gonna feel rested in the morning. A little horny, but rested. Take that back. You can't say that on this show. Go ahead.
Okay, but here's the good news.
Yes.
Is that even though you may have a mask and you may have a machine, the truth of the matter is that you're going to be feeling so much better.
Yes.
You're going to actually want to have a more amorous relationship.
Well, I already actually feel better, and frankly, it's amorous enough for me. Michael Bruce, everybody in the audience is getting a copy of his book and his CD, and I really, really recommend you get this treated if you haven't, even though it looks funny. We'll be right back after this.